Hello, everyone. Blue Star Saber here once again to discuss another My Hero Academia chapter. But this time, I have Lucky Chi with me once again. Hello, Lucky Chi.
I am here. I know. Okay, all right. Okay, bad joke. I know, but I feel like it's been a while since I've been on here, so I feel like I had to throw in some enthusiasm, if you will.
Not to mention, Not to mention, due to you, I've been pretty behind on My Hero Academia episodes, waiting for you, but you don't seem to want to catch up, so I'm going to have to do those by myself.
Oh, I'm sorry. Do you need a world's smallest violin in the background?
Nope, I just need to figure out what manga series you're currently reading. And then you know the rest. But anyway, we're not here to talk about that. But anyway, we're here to discuss the 312th chapter of My Hero Academia, which is following up from the previous chapter, in which Midoriya is now encountering a sniper girl and what appears to be the still armless Overhaul. So yeah, that's interesting.
That is interesting.
Let's see. From what I can tell, this, as we all know, this sniper girl was introduced as one of the escapees of Tartarus.
That was. I was gonna say that was chapter 295, right? It was 296.
I do not recall, but
I'm gonna double check. Keep going.
Either way, she was one of the faces that we did not know. Let's see, amongst the escape convicts.
She had the more. She was one of the escapees I know that had an interesting look. I was like, huh, okay, we don't know anything about her, but okay.
But yeah, but since that she seemed to have a bit of a notice in a very similar manner to the likes of, like Muscular, Moonfish, Stain, Overhaul, the other big names that we knew in there. We assumed that she was going to play some sort of role in the escape prisoners and all that stuff. And it seems like it's a lot sooner than we all expected from the looks of things. But yeah. So anyway, chapter 312, The Hired Gun. Before that, we get to a flashback bit of where Hawks is talking to Midoriya, talking about how his quirk and all that stuff. Where Midoriya should be fine with that, but he's a bit worried about the stage of what Shigaraki is doing right now, and apparently talking about Giriki with the Nomus and all that stuff.
Yep.
So apparently they're talking about how the villain's best bet is to take Midoriya alive. Let's see. Though he seems to be warning Midoriya about. Let's see how. Despite the fact that this is a bet, the villain's best bet is to take him alive. It's a very tall order for most. Okay, what the? Okay, what the? Someone's calling me, but hold on. Give me a sec. I'm gonna deal with this. Sorry about that, people. Let's see, one of those fake accounts was trying to call me and all that stuff.
It was Blue Star's girl.
I don't have a girlfriend.
I know. Jesus, man, Jesus.
Sorry. It's just that now I've got like at least 30 seconds of quiet screen time on my live stream here of nothing. But so yeah, and you didn't really say anything in that time, so. Anyway, where was I? Oh, yes. So the villains, let's see, need to take Midoriya alive, but that would probably be very difficult for them, except for one woman who's fresh out of Tartarus. And apparently she's actually a senior former colleague, and it's revealed that she's actually a senior former colleague of Hawks. In other words, let's see, this sniper was once a hero. But yeah. But Hawks gives this Midoriya this warning. If you encounter this woman, drop everything and run. Which we go back to the scene of, like, I believe it seems to be a bullet shoved through Midoriya's radio. I thought, let's see, I gotta clear up something I said last chapter. I thought this, like, little box thing was a part of a... Midoriya. It's part of like the bullet thing, but turns out that was actually belonging to Midoriya. But yeah, so it's an ammunition made of pink and dark blue fibers. It's her. So she confirms that it's her. It's from Midoriya. And she's introduced as a former hero employed by the Safety Commission, Lady Nagant. So we get.
let me double check. It's Lady, if I look at it correctly. I think it's Nagant. I think. I'm gonna mute myself for a second just so I double check the pronunciation. So give me 1 second.
Okay, fair enough. Well, I'll just continue it on with like. So she continues to shoot at Midoriya, which him keeps running away. And apparently, so given the fact that she's just destroyed Midoriya's secure line, so we cannot. Let's see. So we cannot contact All Might and Hawks, but they should be able to tell that something.
Okay, so based on what I just checked, it's Lady Nagant.
Okay, Lady Nagant. Let's see. Midoriya can't really tell them that Lady Nagant is the one targeting. Let's see. So for now, Midoriya is trying to escape, but she tells Midoriya, "Don't go thinking you've got any options." And she continues to fire and ends up hitting Midoriya. Let's see. And Midoriya's talking about how Hotwire's shot is nothing compared to this. And she continues shooting and hitting him. And then we go to a sort of flashback TV interview thing called Heroes to Watch. We ask 100 current heroes. And we end up seeing Snipe talk, the hero Snipe, Ritzy, one of the teachers at UA. And I think also the hero for like the original My Hero Academia one-shot chapter.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. With him going like, let's see, him commenting about how if she weren't around, he'd be the Japan's top marksman, and about how his target allows him anything with 600 meters. Let's see, but there's some, let's see. But apparently, let's see, he can't pick the target I hit, and the hits won't pack much of a wallop, but it's not too shabby. But she can pull up what her quirk can't do with raw skill, with only raw skill. Apparently can do it from 3 kilometers away and no less. No way am I competing with that. And apparently her trick of the trade bullets, she can craft them into any shape she wants, mostly by ripping off a piece of her hair. Which is like, her hair becomes a quirk while her hair becomes a bullet, while her arm, and well, more specifically, her elbow becomes her gun. So yeah, pretty deadly. She's pretty much a sniper rifle in human form, he goes on. And apparently she's perhaps the most, the most power, and perhaps the most fearsome, ranged fighter. But yeah.
It's useful, I'll say that.
With Midoriya commenting about how Snipper's jealous of her accuracy. And with Midoriya packing, saying that if it wasn't for the fourth quirk, he'd already be a goner.
Mm-hmm.
But Midoriya is able to tell where she is. Let's see, so he's going to try and take the fight with her. Let's see. Now, it's very interesting. Midoriya is able to block, Midoriya is able to block 2 of her shots, which is apparently a first. So that's pretty impressive as well, given the fact that for Midoriya and for her. But anyway,
yeah.
Let's see. Overhaul finally starts talking and saying, "The boss, gotta get back to the boss quick." So it seems like Overhaul is in sort of like not really in his most, I suppose, stable state. Let's see, because he seems to be one mind focused on the boss. But the sniper hero tells him to calm down as his that'll be done once they deal with the target. Though she seems to be commenting and perhaps she should have ditched him after all. And we get to a flashback about how when let's see with Naga is meeting All for One at the Tartarus prison, and he goes on about how the treacherous hero, the Lady Nagant. Let's see what an honor to meet her, because this is apparently their first official meeting.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently, she comments about how at one point, All for One was that was at one point a target for her. So I'm not sure that means that she did clash with All for One, but never really did so directly. Or she was just pursuing him, but never could find him, and something like that. So yeah. So anyway, All for One has a specific request for her, unlike the others. And goes on about her days to come about a certain UA student, who leaves school and operates solo. So it's very interesting that All for One knew that Midoriya would go solo. Like he was able to predict his movements.
I mean, when you consider how many quirks All for One has, you could make the argument and say it's not that big of a surprise, but
I guess you could, if he has like a predicting future sensing quirk, but I don't think he really has that. I think he's just an expert at knowing how heroes are going to act and all that stuff. But yeah. But he asks her to capture him since he's likely to become a thorn in the side of their goals in the future. And suggests a rainy day being her best. And she's wondering why. And she's wondering why she'd do it. But interesting enough, All for One goes about how she killed a fellow hero. So this seems to be what led to her fall from grace or something.
Yeah.
And he goes on about how she seeks the downfall of hero society, but that'll never happen as long as Midoriya's around.
True.
And she goes on, and then she gets a sort of and she gets like a serious eye-looking thing about how another clinging to those phony hopes, huh? So this seems to have motivated her to go after Midoriya. And then All for One, as the Overhaul is talking, All for One notices him and apparently asking what she's doing with him. Asking their friend, but she says that not really. He's more of a screwlouse. She's apparently just and about how he's another victim down by the Hero Society, and apparently just using him for leverage in the future. Anyway, as the conversation ends, with All for One saying how they should deliver a death blow to another death blow to the heroes, and adds a contract. And saying considering this contract, and I think it's revealed that All for One has given Nagnet a new quirk called Airwalk, as she comments about how she's got a mission to carry out. So in other words, it seems that she can also now, besides her sniping ability, walk on air, just from what the quirk's suggesting. And the chapter ends with that. So she has two quirks.
Yep.
So I have to admit, it's a very interesting chapter of giving us a brief detail, maybe not fully everything, but who this mysterious sniper lady is. Her name is Nagnet, and she was once a former hero that fell from grace.
Mm-hmm.
So she's probably, from what I can tell, she's the first hero she's the first hero, or at least the first villain introduced in the manga series that was once a hero.
Oh, yeah.
Because I don't think any of the heroes in this manga series have gone from hero to villain, or villain to hero just yet.
I mean, they've crossed that road. I can't say necessarily they've full-on gone. But yeah, Lady Nagant, I'd say, is definitely the first one.
I do know that Stain in the Vigilantes manga was originally trying to be vigilante, but then just went to an outright villain after encountering with the main characters.
Yep.
But but that was the closest you can come to. But I guess you could say Stain was more of an anti-hero to villain. But here is pretty much, from what we can tell, is a hero that went bad, clearly with Nagant. You see, granted, I assume that we'll probably find out more about this as the fight continues and all that stuff. But yeah. But it's very interesting that she also seems to be one of the heroes that seem to be aware of All for One before like the public fight between All Might and him from the first saga.
Yep.
It is very interesting to see how many heroes were in the loop on that, but clearly that's not the case. Because let's see, so yeah. But given the fact that I assume that she must have been one of the top heroes at some point. But yeah, it's also interesting that she's regarded as a better sniper than the teaching hero Snipe at that point as well.
Mm-hmm.
Since but yeah. It's a bit. It's sort of a. I do like how they did like that TV interview, and it's also a little bit of world building of like some of the sort of like public celebrity stuff with the heroes, where you get other heroes, where it's revealed that other heroes can comment on other heroes and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I guess it shows you a bit more of the commercial side of the Hero Society of My Hero and all that stuff. But yeah. But yeah, I do like the conversation that we saw with Hawks and Midoriya about him trying to warn her to run if she finds you.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, what else is there to comment? Let's see.
I mean, okay. Typically, appearances don't really matter too much to me, but she's attractive. I'll give her that.
Yep. Let's see. Yeah, let's see.
I know the fandom's been acting that way. I'm like, all right, I see where your mindsets are right now.
Yep, she's definitely the new waifu for a few okatakus out there.
I would have see my first mind went to Black Widow, but then I thought, I don't know, Black Widow's pretty good too. And I'm talking about more so the character than appearances one thing too, but you know.
Possibly, maybe she's based on Black Widow, and maybe some other assassin-like character. The only other kind of assassin-like female villain.
That's kind of weird, because I remember just thinking about, I'm like, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I kind of thought Black Widow if Black Widow went a bit more rogue, but
Well, Black Widow was originally an Iron Man villain before becoming a hero. So yeah, it's one of the reasons why she was. Let's see.
What's your take on it?
From apparently, her name. Let's see. From what I'm looking at the Wikipedia thing, her name may be a reference to Moza Nagra, a military rifle first developed in the late 18th century. It's still used in conflicts in the present day. So okay, what's my take?
What makes sense?
But so, what's my take on her? Are you referring to appearance-wise or comic book-wise thing?
Both. So not appearance-wise. I was gonna say in terms of characteristic-wise. Do you see her kind of being that Black Widow-ish character in a way? I mean, obviously it's a little different, but you get the point. In terms of
maybe
and
she could be based on other mercenary assassin characters. There's also Elektra from Daredevil, though I don't think Elektra uses guns. I think she uses scythes. Maybe a Silver Sable, or at least maybe one of the more 90s looks of Silver Sable. Granted, I know Silver Sable had silver hair, and I'm not sure. But I'm not very familiar with sniper-like characters in either Marvel or DC. But yeah, I think you could probably get some idea. But she could be based on Black Widow, at least maybe maybe early Black Widow, but maybe but sort of a reverse of but villain turned good, but she's a hero turned bad sort of thing. But yeah. So yeah, it's nice that we finally get to for a manga series that's gone for over 300 chapters to finally get a hero that's actually gone bad. Because we sometimes get that in comics, though granted, it's a bit rare because mostly people would get a bit pissed off if their favorite hero characters turned to villains. I know that's what many people were like when it came to Cyclops with the X-Men.
I mean, here's my thing. For me, it depends on the execution. If you want a hero to turn bad, I personally have nothing against that, but you got to make it work in order to make it convincing.
Granted, usually from what I can tell, usually this ends up working more when you're setting up a hero to be a bad guy. For example, with the Judas contract storyline with the Teen Titans.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to spoil who that is, but I'm sure if anyone's a Teen Titans fans, they know who I'm referring to.
I think, given how old Judas' contract is, I think many people can get that idea.
Yeah, spoilers. So avoid the next 5 seconds. I'm referring to Terra.
And if you remember the cartoon show, that doesn't help even further.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah, but in comic books, she was a lot less nice. But to say that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But anyway, I suppose the other thing to talk about in this chapter is the return of Overhaul. But granted, we did know that Overhaul was out, but we've learned that he's pretty much being taken along by this, fallen hero.
That and Overhaul is, at the very least, still kind of scarred from what Shigaraki did.
Yes, because I believe due to the fact because he needs his own quirk to repair the boss, because he did that to him.
And to be fair, I think that's a good thing, because if you brought Overhaul back and he just came back in form before the hand thing happened, then I'd be like, okay. So yeah, I like that repercussion's still there in him, where he's like,
yeah. No, I am curious to see what is it that Koei is going to do with him, because without his arms, he's practically quirkless.
No hands. That's essentially what he is. He's no hands.
So yeah, so he's clearly planning something with him. I just do not know what. Is he going to be a victim? Is he going to get killed? Or is he going to somehow get his powers back? Or maybe get some new powers or something?
It's a good question.
That is what I'm mostly curious about when it comes to Overhaul.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now, clearly she's not. Clearly she has no care for Overhaul. In fact, I think he's just using him as insurance, though. It looks like she might just abandon him and stuff. But yeah, but clearly, Koei clearly has hopefully something planned for him, and rather than just as a fan servicey cameo thing, which half of the Edo Tensei ninjas ended up being for Naruto. But yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But so far, Koei has, with like Muscular before, at least used, the villain coming back, returning villains to good use. So I think we can trust Koei on this.
Oh, for sure.
So yeah. The only thing I think left to comment about, I suppose, is the art style.
It's not different.
Yeah, I mean, but
I think pretty good.
We're trying to get like one of our other friends to join us for the stream, but he kind of mentioned how the current background and setting with the rain and the dark cities seems to remind him of Frank Miller, or at least the Frank Miller comic style thing, like the Sin City.
If I have to talk about, if we're talking about artwork and favorite panels, I think my favorite panel probably has to be the one when she's about to go for the opening blow and she says, "You moved." I don't know. That panel's pretty badass in my opinion. Yeah. With the rain in the background and everything.
Yeah. So apparently this rain and background thing seems to be based off maybe of the Sin City stories by Frank Miller. Now, granted, I've never really read that because, well, Frank Miller's views put me off of ever reading his work.
Unless you've read Dark Knight Returns, but that's about it.
I have not read. No, I've not read even that.
Oh wow!
I know everyone says it's like the greatest Batman story of all time, well, except for James, but I just I haven't really just found the time to either read it, or watch it, or way to do it without giving Frank Miller any money. But yeah. But yeah, so it's like I do quite like the setting and all that, and it's like an interesting environment because I don't think we've really seen Midoriya fight in the rain, have we?
Not that I know of.
But yeah. I suppose the only other thing to comment on is the fact that, let's see, this villain has also gotten the quirk Airwalk from All for One. Is now she can, from what I can see, jump up and walk in the air. It's going to probably make her even more dangerous because, let's see, because she can easily move to a different location and then shoot Midoriya. So there's that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I assume that this fight will probably last a few chapters. Probably be a much longer than the one with Muscular, because that was more of a setup fight, really.
I mean, I told you this too when that fight was happening, but I had my suspicions. I was like, I don't think Muscular's fight's gonna be that long. So
But I can definitely see.
I'd give this maybe. I was gonna say I could probably give this chapter maybe 2 or 3 more chapters, at least.
Yeah, it's probably gonna be. It'll probably take a bit longer for it to do that, but yeah, it won't be like a super long fight. My Hero Academia is not really super long fights. I think
it's not gonna be like an entire volume.
I mean, as far as I can tell, the 2 longest fights in the series was All Might versus All for One, and then Heroes versus Shigaraki.
Well, and even then, like the All Might versus All for One fight, I wouldn't even say it was that long, technically.
It was mostly like
in terms of because it didn't take up like the entire volume. Because I know there was like what,
it was
2 or 3 or
I think it was like 6 chapters in total.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah,
because he had those additional 4 chapters of just aftermath stuff.
Yeah. But yeah, but I definitely said that chapter was definitely 6, because which is usually an average of a like a 3-episode fight that you get with Naruto or someone like Bleach or maybe even One Piece. But yeah, but anyway, but yeah, the Shigaraki one was definitely the longest fight in many ways. But yeah, let's see, but yeah, so. Overall, I think I'll give this chapter an 8.5 out of 10. It's a good work. I think it did a good job of for most part, introducing this villain here, Lady Nagant, and the fact that she was like a former hero and all that stuff, but also leaving some things vague enough to want us to learn a bit more about her in the upcoming chapters.
I think for me, again, given that, I think it was interesting, given with how Koei, paced out this fight so far between Lady Nagant and Deku, but also just also by having it in the ring, I thought was again a really, really interesting take, and getting Nagant's backstory. Again, there's not a whole lot there, but getting that little bit of info I thought really stood out. So for me, I'd give it an amazing, which kind of is around a 9 out of 10 for me.
Oh wow, you did it much higher than I was going to do it, but hey, all right. But yeah. So yeah, that's the end of the chapter. Thank you for joining me, Lucky Chi. I'm not sure if you'll be able to join me for the next chapter or not, or maybe even the next episode or something, or when you'll be able to join the stream again. But yeah, that is it for now. I'm Blue Star Saber,
Lucky Chi,
and we are signing off. Plus Ultra. Oh, you were saying it?
I was saying peace. Okay. But plus Ultra.
And we're done.